Very good. All right, now we're recording. So staying in bridge pose. Again, if you'd like to just add a little more, we can clasp the hands, open the chest to the front of the room. And just notice this kind of hip motion that we're in right now is really opposite of our sitting motions. So right now we have our hip flexors and they are stretching or elongating in this pose. Unlike when we're sitting down, when the knee is closer, a little closer to our chest. So that's a motion that we're in a lot these days. It's really a great pose to take sometimes throughout the day in our practice. Very good. We're going to slowly lower down. We're going to continue warming up, staying in bridge. We're just going to start pulsing and lifting the hips. Maybe a little further than we're used to. Taking a nice even flow. If you want to challenge yourself a little more, as you come through the flow, don't let the tailbone touch the mat. Working with breath. And enjoying some Iron Maiden. Couple more times, finding stillness now. Now I'm going to lift one leg, and if you'd like, we can center our foot a little closer in the middle. We're just going to pulse this way now. And again, adding to the challenge, not letting the tailbone touch the mat. Really driving through the hips, working with breath. A couple more times. Finding stillness, resting the tailbone on the mat, and switching sides now. Opposite leg, whichever one you did. So lifting one leg up in the air, driving through the hips. Working with breath, maybe inhaling on the way down. Exhaling as you drive the hips up. Finding stillness, lying flat on our backs. We're slowly going to make our way back into tabletop now. Remember, stacking joint systems. So shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. I'm going to come into bird dog. I'm going to extend the left leg back, extend the right arm forward. Using my Uddiyana Bandha, belly button back to spine, to keep nice and balanced here. Slowly just bringing the right hand down to the mat. I'm going to pulse my hind leg. And please feel free to do the same, keeping a nice slow flow. Just really working our glutes right now. And finding stillness. Back through tabletop, coming into the opposite side now. Right leg or opposite leg extended back. Left arm extended forward. Finding stillness, driving through the back heel. Gazes to the mat. Option to stay there or bring the left hand down to the mat, and we're going to pulse the right leg. Again, no need to keep up with me. You could do it a little slower or do it a little faster if you like. And finding stillness, coming back into tabletop. Going up on the toes, we're going to come into downward facing dog. And this is our first one of the practice. Maybe pedal out the heels, warm up the hamstrings. Remember, the hamstrings are actually help the hips in extension. So our hip extender muscles are our glute maximus and our hamstrings. So remember that a lot of our muscles work together in synergy. Here for a couple more breaths. Walking feet to hands, we'll hang in a ragdoll position or a forward fold. Letting the head hang heavy. If you feel like you have a little too much tightness in the hamstrings, just rest your ribs on your quadriceps or your thighs. You're taking any tension you have out of your neck, nodding it left and right, up and down, maybe circles. Just releasing any tension you have. Releasing the hands, inhaling, coming up through the feet, coming into extended mountain. Exhaling, forward folding over the mat. Inhaling, zipping up through the abdomen, halfway lift, extending the crown of the head to the front of the room. Maybe keeping a nice Uddiyana Bandha here in the halfway lift if you'd like to add a little more. We're going to squeeze our back together. Oh, pull the chest through the arms. We're going to give our rhomboids a nice contraction here. Exhaling, hands down to the mat. Coming into high plank. And if you want to add a little more, I'm just going to lift the right leg up just to have my glutes in contraction here. Exhaling, coming through low push-up. Inhaling the back bend, pushing the hips forward. You really feel our extenders really contracted here, so notice your glutes are your main contracting muscles here. Exhaling, the opposite motion. Contracting your hip flexors, shortening your hip flexors here, coming into downward facing dog. Walking or hopping, feet to hands. Inhale into your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Driving through the feet, reaching and rising. Exhale, forward folding. Zipping up through the abdomen. Halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Coming into our high plank. Remember, knee down is always a good option here. I'm looking the opposite leg for me. My left leg here. I'm going to hold the plank. I'm going to come through my chaturanga. Inhaling the back bend. Exhaling, downward facing dog. So just feel how those salutations landed in your body, and maybe you're noticing some different muscles than you normally think of when you're going through your practice. Usually in upward facing dog, we really don't think of our hips there. We're more thinking of the back bend. And in downward facing dog, we're not really thinking of our hip flexors shortening here. Usually we're thinking about our shoulders and our hamstrings lengthening. I'm going to come to sun salutation B now and add a few more poses to the flow. So walking or hopping, feet to hands. Inhaling our halfway lift. Exhaling, we're going to sit into chair pose. Staying nice and rooted to the mat. Maybe coming up our seat a little bit. Stacking joint systems here. Your knees over your elbows as much as you can. Since we're talking about hips a lot, maybe just talking about hip stability specifically and not getting any dip in our hips, and obviously face forward in chair pose here. Maybe we can try to pick one leg up and then the other and just play with that, trying to keep our pelvis at the same level. Exhaling, forward fold, yeah. I don't want to stay in the chair pose for long either. Inhaling the halfway lift. Exhaling the forward fold. Moving through the feet, inhale, reaching and rising. Exhale, forward folding. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. And high to low push-up. Inhale, the back bend. Coming back through downward facing dog. This middle mat here is kind of new. I don't want to slip. Coming into three-legged dog, lifting the right leg up. Stepping to the front of the mat. Squaring the hips to the front of the room. Coming into warrior one. We're relaxing the shoulders. No need to pull the shoulders to the ears. At least not quite yet. Now inhale, reach through the fingertips. Hands to the mat. And let's go through the flow. Remember, at any point in the practice, if you'd like to skip a vinyasa, you can just come right to downward facing dog. And always take child's pose. Walking or hopping, feet to hands. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, forward folding. Now sitting back into chair pose again. Just leaving you for a couple breaths this time. And forward folding. Driving through the feet, reach and rise. Exhale, forward folding. Inhaling, tipping up through the abdomen, halfway lift. Hands to the mat. Coming through your flow. We're meeting me in downward facing dog. Left leg this time. Three-legged dog, step up to the front of the mat. Drive through your feet. Square your hips to the front of the room. Warrior one. Inhale, reach through the fingertips. Hands to the mat. And come through your flow. And we're meeting downward facing dog. Walking or hopping, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Really building some fire now. And back into chair pose. Forward folding. Driving through the feet, halfway lifting. Exhale, forward folding. Sitting up through the abdomen. Squeezing the rhomboids through your back, pulling your chest through halfway left. Hands to the mat. High to low push-up, going through your flow. Meeting and downward facing dog. I just want to do a couple tiger stretches here. We'll start on the right side. Is a power class. We don't want to forget about specific core exercises. So we'll start with the right leg up. And I'm going to hover, bring that right leg to the right elbow. Driving the foot back now. Now trying to touch the opposite elbow. Driving the heel up. Right knee, right elbow. Driving the right knee up. Right knee, left elbow. And back through downward facing dog. Switching to the opposite side now. Left leg, three-legged dog. Float back to your left knee. Drive the left heel up. Float right knee. Drive the left heel up. To the left knee. Drive the left heel up. Now to the right knee. Back through three-legged dog. And we'll just come into child's pose. Those are big poses, everyone, so great job. Especially like the core engagement, you know, notice that we're not only doing the crunch, but we're also doing the twist on the second one. So we're engaging our, you know, our abdominals and our obliques. Take a couple breaths here. Maybe have a drink of water. When you're ready, you come into tabletop. Tucking under the toes, keep an eye on the time here. Under the toes. And downward facing dog. Excellent job. Right leg up. Stepping to the front of the mat. Coming into crescent lunge now. Remember, squaring the hips. Warrior one arms. The heel is over the ball of the foot. If you'd like to add a little more challenge to it, come up on the ball of your right foot. And try to stay here. Engaging our calf here. Slowly lower the heel down. Flatten the back foot like warrior one. Forward folding over the front leg. Very good. Coming back into crescent lunge. Excellent. Flattening the back foot. Coming into warrior two. Straightening the front leg. Pulling to the front of the room like someone's grabbing our wrist. Reaching the right hand to the mat. And just thinking about hips here. We don't want to be tipping that right hip down the front, starting on this side. We really want to tuck that front hip in. Very good. Adding a little core to this. Reaching the left hand to the mat. Twisted triangle. I love everyone has their video on, or a lot of people do. You guys look great. Now, right hand and left hand to frame the front foot. Coming onto the ball on the left foot. Bringing the right leg back. Coming through your flow. We're meeting in downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Step it to the front of the mat. Coming into crescent lunge. Staying here. Or coming onto the ball of the front foot. Staying there, we're relaxing, dropping the heel. Planting the back foot like warrior one. Forward folding over that front leg. Really feel good on our hamstring, our calf. Coming back into into crescent lunge. Flattening the back heel. Coming into warrior two. Straightening the front leg, slight bend in it. Pulling to the front of the room as someone's grabbing your wrist. Tipping over into triangle. Again, really, since we're talking about hips today, make sure you have that left hip tucked in. Reaching, if you'd like, right hand to the mat, adding some core to the pose. Slowly bringing both hands up to frame the front foot. We're going to come back into, on the ball of the foot, like crescent lunge. Bringing both legs back. Coming through our flow. Or meeting downward facing dog. Awesome job, everyone. Walking or hopping, feet to hands. Now we're going to come into Balasana. I'm just going to face you guys here. So maybe the feet at an angle. Start with prayer hands. Now we're not going to do crow this time. What we're going to do is we're going to drive through the feet, maybe take them a little wider. We're going to come into God's pose, or God in my case. If you want to add some challenge, come up on the ball of one of your foot. Maybe switch sides. Maybe both. My wife likes me to call this crab pose. I think it's pretty adept there. Staying here, staying with your breath. Slowly releasing through the feet. Heel toeing them in. Forward folding. Coming through the feet, reaching and rising. We're just going to bring hands to heart center. Great job, everyone. So there we have a lot of hip opening, or hip abduction, or pulling away. So now I want to do a little hip abduction and pull the hips in. So we're going to start with eagle pose up there. I'm going to have my arms out in a T. I'm going to bring my right foot over my left, my right arm underneath my left. And really here I'm hugging the hips in. And that's keeping me from having a dip in my pelvis. If you can do the full arm wrap, please feel free to do so. My arms are way too short for that, but that's okay. T-Rex is the most feared of all the dinosaurs, right? Very good. Staying with your breath here. And switching sides. Arms out in a T. Left leg over right now. Left arm under right. And again, really pulling, hugging the sides of the hips in. And releasing. Arms out and to the sides. So now we're going to do like a little level up from there as far as hip dip goes. And we're going to come into tree pose. So in tree, either keep your foot tented, below or above the knee, just not against the knee. And if you have yourself big enough on the video, where you can just feel it, maybe you want to touch your hips here. You really want to keep your hips nice and level. And a big part of that, if we're talking about the kinetic chain here, so what I'm really doing to help prevent that, I'm not letting that bottom leg push on my leg too much and that causes my hip to dip. I'm hugging my foot against my leg as much as I can. Awesome, from what I can see, you guys look great. And switching sides, I'll talk a little less on this side. So right foot planted or opposite foot, whatever you did. Tented below or above the knee. Like I said, maybe you just want to start feeling your pelvis. I guess my other side's better to balance on. Now once you feel nice and rooted, grow your branches. There, even pressure applied from the planted foot to the foot that's pressing against your leg, the bottom of your foot that's pressing against your leg. Slowly releasing. And one level up from that is standing knee raise. So we'll start, left foot planted. I'm going to bring my right knee up. Option to stay here, or bring it over to the side like Captain Morgan. And the full expression of the pose, grab and big toe. Staying with your breath. Slowly, carefully bring the foot out in front of you and lowering. Same on the opposite side now. Lifting the knee. Opening it to the side. I like to call it Captain Morgan. Maybe I had too much rum in college. Maybe I want to go into the full expression of it. Grab the big toe. Slowly bring that foot out in front of you. And lower the foot. Nice controlled motions here, guys. Awesome. Coming back into flow. Inhale, reach and rise. Exhale, forward folding. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Coming into your high plank, coming through your low plank. Inhaling the back bend. Into downward facing dog. Coming onto the knees. And coming into a seated position. Laying flat on your backs. Do a little bit of abs. I'm going to start with 60, 30, 90 legs. I'm going to create a diamond with my hand. I'm going to tuck it underneath my tailbone. Extending the legs out, like 5 degrees off the mat. Picking my head up off the mat. We'll start 5 degrees, 15, 30, 60, 90. Exhale, slowly lowering it. And 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees. Slowly lower. 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees. Slowly lowering. One last time. 30, 60, 90. Staying here. Staying with your breath. As slow as you can. Feeling the abdominal stretch as we lower. All the way down. Feet flat on the mat. And for a little relief if you like, hug the knees to the center. Very good, everyone. So we're going to come into a boat pose now. So I'm going to come up on my sitting bones. Knees here. Arms out. And really using the abdominals to hold this here. Extending the legs out. Just noticing as we talk about hips. So this is similar to a sitting motion, right? So we really have the hip flexors and extension right now. Or so, excuse me, we have the hip flexors and contraction. We're shortening the hip flexors, right? Slowly lowering, coming to low boat. Maybe arms above you if you want a little more. Going up through the abdomen. Coming into boat. Doing a little shakes good. Low boat. Pulling up into boat. And pull it in through the chest. Maybe you can grab in the big toes. Standing out. If you're doing that, let go. Slowly lower through low boat. And flat onto the mat. Maybe hugging the knees in. Awesome. Great job, everyone. And I want to cheat you guys out doing some abs today. Coming into a seated position. Do some seated forward folds. Just keep an eye on the time here. I'm going to start in a staff pose. And plug through the abdomen. Our Uddiyana Bandhas here. Keeping the arms up. Inhaling, reaching through our fingertips. Exhaling. Again, as we talk about hip flexors, we're really shortening the hip flexors here. You should really be feeling your hamstrings lengthen, and maybe even a little of your glute max. Slowly releasing back into staff pose. Tucking the right foot under. Inhaling, reaching through the fingertips. Exhaling, seated forward fold. Releasing the hands. Bring them up. Switching sides now. Inhaling, reaching through the fingertips. Exhaling. Forward folding. Slowly releasing the legs. Coming onto our knees now. We're going to do camel pose. This, since we did especially a lot of hip flexing shortening, we're going to lengthen now. I think camel pose is one of the best poses to lengthen the hip flexor. So I'm going to do it one side at a time. If you can do full camel, please feel free to do so. I think I can do full camel, but if I do it, I don't think I'll be able to get out of it. I'll have to call my wife downstairs. So I'm going to reach for my back right heel. I'm really going to drive those hips forward. So again, my hip flexors are stretching and lengthening in the front. Especially my glute right now is contracting and shortening. So really feel that land in your body. Not just the back bend. Releasing and switching sides now. Or coming back into full camel. Slowly releasing. Hands to the mat. On the balls of our feet. Pulling into downward facing dog. Using the right leg up. Coming into pigeon pose on the right side. It's a really unique position for our hips because the left leg, well, if that's what side you're doing, left leg's an extension. Our hip extenders are flexing, contracting, and we have lengthening in the left hip flexor. And the opposite true is on the planted side. So pushing up through the fingers, and that's proud pigeon, slowly lowering flat in the mat. Option to stay here, coming into double pigeon. If you'd like to come to double pigeon, what I'm going to do is I want to seat on my right side. I'm going to bring my left leg up and around. So I'll face the camera here. Up and around so my left ankle is on top of my right thigh. I have a nice tight box here. Feet flexed. Inhale, I'm going to reach through my fingertips. Exhale, I'm going to forward fold. If that feels uncomfortable for you, you can just stay in regular pigeon. Notice as you exhale here, you might be able to deepen the stretch a little bit. So you might be able to crawl our fingers a little forward on the mats or the floors. Slowly releasing. Coming back into a downward facing dog. And switching sides now. For me, the left leg, three-legged dog. Bringing that left leg out in front. And a nice proud pigeon here. Really lengthening my hip flexion on the right side. Feel nice and comfortable here. I'm going to slowly lower my pigeon. Maybe reach for the front of the mat. Option to stay here or come into double pigeon. Might be easier for you to see now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a seat on my left side. Bring my right leg up and around so that my right ankle is on top of my left thigh. I'm going to flex both of my feet. Have a nice good square here. Inhale, reach through the fingertips. Exhale, forward folding. So you should really feel a nice deep stretch in the left glute. The right glute. And if this is not for you, I'm going to stay in regular pigeon pose. Or pigeon on your back is another good modification. You know that. Again, with each deep breath, exhale, crawling the fingers a little further on the mat. Staying with our breath here. And slowly releasing, coming out of the stretch. Just extending the legs out in front of you if you're coming from pigeon pose. I'm going to lie flat on my back. I'm going to come into some spinal twists. So I'll face this way, it's a little easier. So I'm lying flat on my back. I'm going to bring right knee to chest. And I'm going to bring that leg across my body, using my right hand to deepen the stretch. And I'll face the camera again. We're trying to bring out your body like a dish towel. This is a great stretch for your hip abductor, which is glute medius here. You can really feel it right on the side of your hip. You feel it right on the side here. Nice and perfect. And through lying on our back, switching sides now. Left knee to chest. Left knee across the body. And if you like, use the opposite hand to encourage a deeper stretch. Back lying flat on our backs. Bringing the feet together in our first pose of the practice, which is if that was what you chose to do, in Supta Baddha Konasana. You're on the hip opening here. Noticing how it lands in your body compared to the start of the practice. Noticing we have nice open hips here. Or hip abduction, right? And you're lifting the feet, grabbing the outside edges of the feet, coming into happy baby. Maybe you can rock the baby a little side to side. Nice lower back relief. And we're trying to reach the tailbone, keeping a nice neutral spine while we stay happy baby. Tailbone should be reaching for the mat. You shouldn't be curled up. And lower the body. Coming into Savasana, or corpse pose. Palms to the ceiling, staying with your breath. Just reflecting on the practice. As we wind down, hopefully the playlist has gotten to the slow part right now, or maybe it should be at least close to it. Maybe taking something different from this class, or something we learned, something we're proud of, and something we need work on. We'll come into a comfortable seated position. I just want to thank everyone for taking their class with me today. Hope you all enjoyed it. And that was a little different from my last two classes, so I hope you like the changes. Bring our hands out, heart center, bow, and say namaste. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for a great class. I really needed all that hip stuff.
Awesome. Good talking then. Thank you very much. Hopefully see you next week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And you're very welcome, everyone.
Thank you.